We now have reached a horrible milestone in the United States where guns are the leading cause of child deaths for those under 18. The New York Times had a very good piece on this a couple of days ago. And if you look at leading causes of death for children ages 1 through 18, if you're looking on the screen, you see this green line, which is guns, which has now surpassed motor vehicle crashes at 19% of deaths for children age 1 to 18. It is guns, followed by motor vehicle crashes, cancer, drug overdoses, which has increased, and suffocation has decreased, putting it into fifth position. This century, okay, since the year 2000, as you can see on the screen if you're looking, guns have risen as the cause of death from 10% of kids age 1 to 18 to 19%. Nearly 5 in 100,000 die each year, kids. These are stunning numbers. Most of the deaths are homicides. Many of the victims are Black and mostly boys. There are also suicides. The suicides are mostly white and mostly boys. There are relatively few of what would be called accidental deaths. We take issue with the term accidental. Typically, you're talking about negligence, actually. But very few are what are often called accidental deaths. We hear about, oh, a dad was cleaning his gun and shot his daughter dead. We do see those stories, but those are actually relatively few. This is a uniquely American problem. And in order to start thinking about solutions, we have to really understand the problem. This is not a global epidemic. If you look globally, the most common causes of death for children are infectious disease is 45% disproportionately in the developing world, 15% pneumonia and respiratory disease, 12% preterm birth and neonatal disorders, 10% diarrheal categorized disease, 9% congenital defects. Now, as a math issue, it is true. I know people are going to write to me and say this, so I will be very upfront with you. If you reduce one thing, simply by comparison, another thing is going to go up. So in the US, we have certainly reduced some of these elements as causes of death, right? Diarrheal disease death in the United States in kids is a lot rarer than in other parts of the country. So if you drop that, then other stuff will go up like gun deaths. But even in the rest of the developed world where there isn't much diarrheal child death, you do not see gun death numbers like we see in the United States. So what are the differences between the US and other countries? Well, we have one of the highest rates of gun ownership. Is it that alone? No, but that's a factor. One of the highest rates of gun ownership. So there are guns around kids. We have a lack of strict gun control laws in most states. We have a culture that glorifies violence and exposes even kids. I mean, we're talking 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds, completely exposed and affected by that very culture that glorifies violence, sees guns as a way to solve problems. High rate of poverty, high rate of income inequality, both of which have been studied in connection to guns as a public health issue, and lack of access to mental health resources. Now, of course, I have no interest in ignoring any of these aspects. The right loves to say it's just mental health. Meanwhile, they don't want to fund mental health. Mental health is certainly a factor, but availability of guns, widespread nature of guns, that's a factor as well. There are clear steps we can take. I've outlined so many of them so many times before. No one step will solve this problem. No one step will solve the problem. And we always hear after a shooting, well, your idea of limiting clip capacity wouldn't have prevented this particular shooting. I don't know anyone who claims any one thing. When you have a problem that's based on 6 to 8 things, there's no one thing that will solve that problem. But we have to work on all of these things. And quite frankly, the numbers speak for themselves. Unique to the United States. If you want to, let me put it this way. If you want to find other countries with a gun violence problem affecting kids to the degree that we have in the United States, I'm not going to name the countries. You will find countries that none of these right-wingers would say are in any way equivalent to the United States. So take a look. We're going to link to the study in the New York Times. We're going to continue talking about all of it, but we have plenty of ideas. But we have a right wing that is unwilling to actually try any of them. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/The David Pakman Show.